events for the White Sox and Chris Volstead.
12 runs in total, a high watermark for the season. Tonight, muscle memory is the goal in the Windy City as the Rangers look to go one-up in the season series versus the Pale Hose.
Another chilly night here in Chicago as we get ready for the third game of this series. Rangers and White Sox, and the youth movement continues in a significant way tonight. Welcome in, folks. I'm Dave Raymond alongside Mr. Ranger Tom Grieve. And once again, we open the broadcast by saying Cole Hamels not going to start today. We still don't know when he's going to be back in the rotation. That stiff neck has held him out for each of the last two starts. Not going today, but what that means for the Rangers is that another youngster, Ariel Jurado, just 22 years old, will make his big league debut.
Yeah, and that was a little bit of a surprise to us, but we're looking forward to seeing the youngster, only 22 years old. He signed as a free agent out of Panama in 2012 when he was only 16 years old. He's had some pretty good credentials in the minor leagues. In 2015, he was a Nolan Ryan Pitcher of the Year in the Rangers minor league system. He's not an extremely hard thrower as far as velocity goes, has a good sinker ball, good control. He needs to keep the ball down in the strike zone, having a good year in Frisco. In his last 4 starts at Frisco, he had a 1.71 ERA. So big day for the youngster, only 22 years old. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing him tonight.
Yeah, a new youngest Ranger today gets his big league debut, the 5th Ranger to get his big league debut this year. Meanwhile, on the other side, also a youngster, Lucas Giolito. I mean, he's just a kid, 23 years old.
Yeah, this kid came into baseball highly touted. He was a #1 draft choice with Washington. Last year, he was a top 100 prospect in all of baseball. He was acquired from Washington in the Adam Eaton deal. Not off to a great start this year. Is the only qualifying pitcher with more walks, 32, than strikeouts, 24. Has not pitched well at home. His ERA is close to 14 at home. A lot more talented than the numbers might show. He'll be trying to get it together for the White Sox tonight.
Well, the adults can play too. Shin-Soo Choo lately has been a big part of the offense. We'll put him in the spotlight when we come back.
Rangers baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. By Budweiser, a legendary lager for legendary moments. Rangers fans, this Bud's for you. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Welcome back again, south side of Chicago, home of the White Sox, the hosts in this 4-game series. This is game 3 here tonight. We talked about Shin-Soo Choo just as we were headed to break, and Choo today the subject of our Shinerbach Spotlight. And the last 5 games, Choo is sort of trying to put it together again, a .364 average. Over the last 5 games, the OPS well up over 900 now. You see the multi-hit games, but also the big grand slam last night. And so, as we talked a couple of days ago, need the veterans to step up big. He has. For more on Choo, we check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, and Shin-Soo Choo acknowledges that fact that he realizes, especially without Adrian Beltre and Elvis Andrus in this lineup, it is up to him to carry some of that load that is left behind by those guys. He acknowledges that Adrian and Elvis still very much a part of this team in the dugout, in the clubhouse. They can, give pointers, advice, tips, all those kind of things. But at the end of the day, he is the veteran presence in this lineup, and he needs to produce accordingly. And so when you look at Shin-Soo Choo and what he's done the last few games, you can tell that he has felt an urge and a sense of urgency in order to do that. And it's worked so far, or I guess I should say lately at least, and he looks to continue those efforts personally in the lineup. And of course, this lineup looks to continue what it did last night, hopefully saving some offense for game 3 of this 4-game series. We'll have the first pitch from Chicago with Dave and Tom coming up next.
And getting ready for game 3 of our series here. Great to have you along with us. I tell you what, the weather on the south side has been very chilly today, the coldest day yet. At least it feels that way. As we're ready to go. Take a look at our Southwest starting lineup for the Rangers. 18 and 28 coming into play today. Delano DeShields leading it off in center field. Sin-Chu Chu, the DH. Kiner Falefa at third base. Into the heart of the order, Mazzara, Profar, and Gallo. And the bottom of things, Rougned Odor, Robinson Chirinos, and first baseman Ronald Guzman rounds it out.
Lucas Giolito will be on the mound, and we're going to look at his pitch arsenal. He throws a lot of fastballs, 60% of the time, slider, changeup, and a curveball. At times in his career, his curveball has been a key pitch for him. This year, it has not been quite as much a key pitch for him. We'll see how the game unfolds and how he uses his curveball, but essentially it's going to depend on his command tonight, like it does with any pitcher. Starting defense for the White Sox, Leury Garcia in left, Adam Engel in center. Daniel Palka is in right field tonight. In the infield, it's up the middle with Tim Anderson and Yoan Moncada. Yolmer Sanchez is at third. Jose Abreu is at first. Behind the plate, Omar Narvaez.
All right, ready to go. Giolito, tall right-hander, 6'6", 245 pounds. And his first offering low and in for a ball. So we're underway. Hour earlier on Saturday than we had been the previous nights. And a little bit to my surprise here, Tom, it's 2 degrees warmer today than it was yesterday.
Yeah, it feels a little chillier tonight for some reason. Maybe it's because the wind is coming our way a little more than it was last night.
55 degrees and very overcast. It's like we're in the middle of a cloud. 2-0. And DeShields pops this one up. Shallow center field. Engel coming in, but so is Palka from right field. It's Palka who makes the catch. So one away.
When Giolito signed, he was a very high draft choice by Washington, coming out of high school in California. Then and early in his minor league career, if you looked at a scouting report, it would have talked about his mid-90s fastball, sometimes reaching the upper 90s. It also talked about a really good curveball. He's had pitching coaches who have described his curveball as one of the best they've ever seen. But so far this year, evidently, his curveball has not quite been up to that standard. And his velocity is not quite as high as it used to be. So he depends on some sinking action and having good command with his pitches. So far in the game, his fastball has been right around 92 miles an hour.
Well, he deals with Chu here. Average of 254. Chu yesterday provided the big blow, the third inning grand slam, and that really opened things up for the Rangers. One, and it is way off the plate. This last 4 games in this ballpark, Chu has been locked in 9 for 17. So feels comfy here. He looked great yesterday. 2-1. He holds off. So Chu may be heating up just a little bit. That'd be excellent news for the Rangers. 2 for 3 yesterday with that grand slam. Also walked a couple of times, so he was all over the bases, on 5 times yesterday. He's hitting 300 on this road trip. And he takes outside. That's ball 4. So Chu is on via the walk.
Giolito has had some severe control issues this year. In fact, the whole White Sox staff has had problems with that. His walk rate, 16.5%. That's the second highest in Major League Baseball. He's now walked 33 batters in only 42 innings. That's way too many walks. In fact, if you look at the White Sox, they've walked 4 3/4 per 9 innings, almost 5 per 9 innings. That's last in the major leagues. Control has been a huge issue for the whole staff and for Giolito in particular.
So 9 pitches so far here, and only 2 have been strikes.
Saw Carson Fulmer really struggle with his command to the point where we actually felt badly for him last night. He's been sent to the minor leagues to try to hone his skills at a lower level where it might be a little more comfortable for him.
Yeah, the White Sox made a couple of moves for the ball game today. Nicky Delmonico was hit on the hand, and he went to the 10-day disabled list. A fractured third metatarsal on his right hand. And Dylan Covey, Jose Rondon, they were called up along with Fulmer being sent down. Bouncer shortstop, Anderson a second one. The relay from Moncada in time for the double play. So a 6-4-3 twin killing, and just like that, the inning over for the Rangers. And now big league debut for Ariel Jurado coming up. All right, the 22-year-old rookie getting ready to go. Let's take a look at the lineup Ariel Jurado will see tonight. The White Sox 11-30. Start things off with Yoan Moncada, Yolmer Sanchez at third base, Jose Abreu at first. Then in the middle, Matt Davidson, Daniel Palka, and Leury Garcia. Anderson, Narvaez, and Adam Engel round things out for Chicago.
Take a look at some of the minor league numbers for Ariel Jurado. Career at AA Frisco, the numbers aren't overwhelming. One thing that does stand out, he doesn't walk many, only 55 walks in 235 innings. But I think the thing that you have to keep in mind with him is he's been one of the youngest players in every league he's ever been in. He's only 22 years old. He's been playing for 5 or 6 years. Not an overpowering guy as far as velocity goes. Depends on movement, sinking action, and ground balls.
Well, just misses low, 2-0. Fastball, that one right in there. 2-1 the count. You see Moncada's numbers, 4 for 8 in the series with a double. And he lifts this one out into left field. Easy play for Gallo. 1 away.
Let's take a look at the Ranger defense, which is delivered by DeMontron RV. For the Rangers tonight in the outfield, Joey Gallo, Delano DeShields, Nomar Mazara. The outfield you would expect to see. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is at third base with the Condor, Ronald Guzman at first. Up the middle, Jurickson Profar, Rougned Odor behind the plate. Hopefully getting hot, has been the last few days, Robinson Chirinos.
So here's Yolmer Sanchez. Bouncer first base. Guzman has it. Underhands it, and Jurado covering the bag. So 2 quick outs and nice alertness. Takes care of his job defensively.
Yeah, fairly well hit ball by Sanchez. Scooped up easily though by Ronald Guzman. Ronald, if he had to, probably could have taken it himself, but the easy play was to flip it to Jurado covering. Gets over there in plenty of time. Oh, good start. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, I got to believe, the nerves have to be pretty high coming into a game like this, but to get 2 quick outs on 6 pitches will make all the difference in the world, and he starts Abreu with a strike.
Well, based on his past in the minor leagues, taking into consideration he does probably have a little bit of nerves, you expect him to throw strikes.
Well, Abreu deposits that one into right field for a double.
Now, Abreu is an extra base hitting machine. He's averaged 30 home runs his first 4 years and 36 doubles. He's off to a solid start this year without much in the way of support around him. As far as people on base when he comes up, people protecting him behind him. Probably in his career with the White Sox, this will be the least in resources behind him and in front of him than he's had as a White Sox, but this guy can hit.
Yeah, he didn't waste any time extending his hitting streak there to 10 games, and now Matt Davidson. Davidson, the cleanup man and DH hitter. Designated hitter, rather. So Jurado deals with his first base runner. And he gets Davidson to hit one high in the air out to center field. A lot of room out there for the Shields, and the inning is done. So he works around the 2-out double. And we've played one scoreless inning tonight in Chicago. Job, Ariel Jurado. And out of the second inning, you see the Rangers yesterday put up some crooked numbers in their win in game 2. 12 runs yesterday in the victory. When they win, they just clobber the White Sox. Now when they lose, the offense is absolutely handcuffed. And especially in this ballpark, the series has been a little lopsided in favor of the White Sox in recent years. So hoping for a quick start tonight against Lucas Giolito. And Mazara takes low and in for a ball.
Not to get bogged down by time of game, but occasionally we talk about time of game. Last night, the first inning took 35 minutes. With the two kids out there tonight, they took care of the first inning in 11 minutes.
Wow.
Crisply played first inning.
Throw some strikes. That will help. 1-1 the count on Mazara now.
Good changeup right there from Giolito. Giolito did walk a batter in the first inning, but Shin-Soo Choo was erased on the double play ball.
Mazara had a couple of hits yesterday, also walked, scored twice. And he takes outside 2-1. It was one of those games last night. Rangers 12 runs, 10 hits, high watermark in terms of runs scored. And really early on, it was just taking advantage of a lot of White Sox mistakes. Hit batters, walks, errors. This ball launched but foul. It's 2-2.
What a play out there. Guy one-handed it with food in his left hand, popped it up in the air with his right hand, and then grabbed it. That's some kind of play. Watch him. Pops it up in the air, grabs it calmly, and didn't spill a thing.
Tip drill. 2-2, and this one is sent into left field, base hit. So Mazara goes opposite field, and he'll scamper to second with a leadoff double.
Well, one thing I noticed in that first at bat is the shift wasn't quite as dramatic as it was last night. He grounded a couple of balls to the left side yesterday. And so let's take a look at it. You can see on the left side of the infield, the third baseman is much closer to third base than he was last night. Didn't help him on that one, as Nomar continues to try to beat that shift with balls going the opposite way.
Especially with 2 strikes, he is so much better at that than obviously the average major league hitter. Average big leaguer about 29% of the time goes the opposite way. Maz closing in on 40%. So a great job of hitting. And now Profar, and he rips this one down the right field line, heading into that corner, and it is high off the fence. Mazara will score easily. Profar into second with the RBI double, and the Rangers lead 1-0.
That didn't miss being a home run by much. Looked like it hit right near the yellow border on top of the wall in right field. Jurickson had a couple of hits yesterday. A little dribbler up the middle. Oh, there's a hanging off speed pitch up in the strike zone. And then a jam shot to center field for 3 RBIs. And we mentioned he had some soft ones coming based on how he's swinging the bat and the contact he's making. And then Giolito handed him a pretty good pitch, and Jurickson just missed hitting it out of the ballpark. A line shot to right field.
That thing looked like a forehand with overspin at Wimbledon or something. I mean, he just absolutely yanked it down into that corner. Meanwhile, Gallo now bats with a man at scoring position. 1-0 Rangers. So they get out and find it's a 4th straight game now that the Rangers have scored first. Yesterday they plated 3 runs in the first inning, which has been a real rarity. This one high. It's 1-1 to Joey Gallo. He had 3 hits last night, including a double. Drove in 3. Banny fiddling with the lineup a little bit recently. Dropped Gallo down into the 6th spot on the order yesterday. He responded with 3 hits. There again today, and he watches strike 2. So we saw this shift with Mazar. Now the bases were empty. Here you have a man at second and Gallo up there, and rarely do you see a team under any circumstances play him straight up. This is about as close as you'll see. You got to protect against Profar taking third. Is that one way inside? It's 2-2. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, you know, last night Joey had a couple of singles, and we're used to the the long home runs with Joey. Asked Jeff Bannister if he feels like that's a sign of good things to come for Joey, and he said it could be, because maybe it means he's not trying to do too much. He's keeping his hands in short and seeing the ball better. But I think probably the biggest thing is the not trying to do too much thing. He had been in a little bit of a slump, and so maybe yesterday a sign of some good things to come. The power, of course, will always be there.
2-2, and he fouls this one back to our left. Well, yeah, as much as we talk about the guys like Kiner Falefa, all the other younger players, Ronald Guzman and such, I mean, Gallo's still the very front end of what will be, one hopes, a long and prosperous big league career. And we've seen all kinds of growth already.
Yeah, I think the thing that would be surprising is if you didn't see growth in a young player. These kids get to the big leagues fairly quick. They work hard. They try to hone their craft, and it stands to reason that as the years go by that they're going to get better and better.
Gallo just 24 years old, and that one is called strike 3. That is right on the edge of the zone. And I think Gallo knew it.
If you want to make a perfect pitch, that's pretty much where it's going to end up. Right at the bottom of the strike zone on the inside corner.
That reaction tells me frustration, but not so much that it was called a strike. You could see that going either way, but it's just a really good pitch. So Profar remains at second base now for Rougned Odor. Rugi takes one high for a ball.
And that's one Rugi, if he can learn to lay off of that consistently, it will definitely help his on-base percentage. First game of the series, late in the ball game, pitcher having a little bit of a command issue. Rugi saw that pitch and popped it up.
Takes a strike here, 1-1. Yesterday was 0 for 5 on a night where the Rangers just let loose offensively. It was a tough one for Rugi to have to struggle to the 0 for 5. Has 3 hits since being activated last Friday in Houston. 3 for 23. He hits this one in the air out to center field. Engel ranging over to his right. He won't get to that one. So Profar will score easily. Third double of the inning. This one by Odor makes it a 2-0 Rangers lead.
Just like the double that Profar hit, that was an off-speed pitch that hung up in the strike zone by Giolito, and Rugi slammed that ball. Engel has excellent speed, is a really good outfielder in center field. Didn't have a chance with this one. That's the proverbial hanging curveball right in the zone where the hitter likes it. A little bit out over the plate where you can extend your arms. And Rugi hit that right on the barrel of the bat, drove it right over Engel's head.
3 doubles in the inning. And now Chirinos, 8th place hitter. Giolito, this is very high for a ball. Chirinos yesterday 1 for 4 with a walk. 5 hits on the road trip and 18 at bats, so pretty good numbers on this roadie. One and one. So a start of a couple of very young pitchers in this one tonight. Lucas Giolito is 23 years old. And he's a big guy, 6'5". Lost 10 pounds in the offseason from 255 to 245. A big piece of that Adam Eaton deal with the Washington Nationals. You looked at that deal. In fact, there were a lot of people who thought that the White Sox really had fleeced the Nats in that one. They got 3 players back, including tomorrow's starter, Ronaldo Lopez. 1-2, and this one lifted out to center field. Engel ranging way in, and that is out number 2. Rangers 2 runs in the inning already. How about this? 7 hits with runners in scoring position the last 2 games. That's tonight and yesterday. First 6 games of the road trip, they had 7 hits with runners in scoring position. It's clicking a little bit better here these last couple of games.
Talking about the trade, the team that knew the players best was the Washington team. And so maybe they knew a little bit more about those 3 guys than the White Sox did. So what might have appeared based on high school scouting reports to have been a fleece job may not end up being that way. You know, when you see a guy like Giolito, his size, his reputation, this is just 15 or 20 pitches, so it's tough to draw a conclusion from that. But nothing strikes me as dominant or overpowering in this game. His fastball so far is barely average, and his off-speed pitches really have not shown much bite to him at all. Probably unfair to draw a conclusion if that's the kind of pitcher he is right now, but that's for 33 pitches what it's been in this game anyway.
You'll write up your full scouting report later.
Yeah, I'd need to see more to write a scouting report, and I wouldn't even attempt to do that. I'm just trying to make an observation based on the 33 pitches that he's thrown tonight.
It's a strike there on Guzman, and the count 1-2. A couple years ago, he was throwing 97 and change. He had Tommy John surgery, and even the last year and a half, he's lost about 1.5 miles on his fastball, but it's about 5 miles per hour from its peak several years ago. He gets Guzman to roll out to second base. The inning is done, but the Rangers pick a pair on 3 doubles, and Jurado now working with a lead. And just trying to keep things together here. You can see the home start for the White Sox, 4-16. Worst in team history, and there's a lot of history in this White Sox franchise. It has been a struggle early on as Daniel Palka will lead things off for Chicago. Right fielder, 5th place hitter, and he takes one low. It's 1-1. Palka, a guy who projects to have great power at some point in his big league career. He has certainly shown it in the minor leagues. This year with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs. Jurado, a little high. Strike. 2-2.
Nice movement on that pitch. Came right back and caught the plate. One thing that's noticeable about Ariel, he worked quickly. Gets the ball back from the catcher, stays on the rubber, looks for his sign, gets ready to throw it.
A rookie making his big league debut, 22 years old. Payoff pitch, that one fouled back out of play. Signed as an international free agent in 2012 out of Panama. with Double-A Frisco this year, as he was all of last year. He's never pitched above the Double-A level. He gets Polka to pop this one up left side of the infield. So playable for Kiner Falefa. One away in the second inning.
Good pitch. Not overpowering with velocity, but nice location. Second straight pitch on 3-2 that he threw in. You can see Robinson's glove, and there's the ball right where Robinson had his glove. And the result is a little jam shot pop-up. So good job right there getting the leadoff hitter.
Now goes after the switch hitting Garcia, Larry Garcia. 260 average. Garcia was not in the lineup yesterday, but ended up playing almost the entire game after Delmonico was hit on the hand. 1-1 the count. He's not comfortable with those inside pitches.
Third straight sinker that he's thrown that's done the same thing. Start off inside and tail back in and catch the plate. Here it comes. Good pitch.
1-2. A swing and a miss. So he strikes out Garcia, the first strikeout of his big league career.
He used the sinker ball to get ahead in the count, and then he finished off Larry Garcia. A nice curveball. First time Garcia saw it, really couldn't contend with it very well.
There we go.
The first strikeout being authenticated. Jurado comes into this game on a pretty nice roll. His last 4 starts at Double-A found him with a 1.71 ERA. In those 4 starts, he threw 26 in the 3rd inning, so well over 6 innings per start. Only 5 walks in 26 innings. He's not a strikeout pitcher. He's a guy that depends on command, movement, weak contact, and not putting extra guys on base. So far in the game, kind of a continuation of the way he's been throwing the last couple of weeks.
Bouncer right back up the middle. And Odor is there to grab it and complete the 1-2-3 inning for Ariel Jurado. And the young right-handers look pretty good through 2. First night here today. Hey, MLB At Bat, your #1 Rangers app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Home screen icons, MLB.tv game of the day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, and a whole lot more. Just go to MLB At Bat. Download the app today.
Oh,
way inside.
watch out.
Look out.
Well, that's the second time on this road trip that's happened. It happened to Ronald Guzman, who was sacrifice bunting on this trip and almost got drilled. Wow, that ball, fortunately, it missed his fingers. That's after last night. First pitch of the game last night from Carson Fulmer. Taking target practice at Delano.
1-1 to the Shields.
Ronald, I think it was in Seattle. Ronald did the same thing. Got out of the way and bunted the ball down the third baseline foul to keep from being hit by the pitch.
The Shields flied out in the first inning, 0 for 1 in this one. Rangers got their 2 runs in the second inning. Off to a good start tonight. A little run support for Ariel Jurado making his big league debut on the mound. Upstairs 2-2. Yeah, we've seen a lot of dangerous pitches inside lately. Nicky Delmonico yesterday hit on the hand. It's broken. He's out for a month to a month and a half. Of course, this road trip started. George Springer in Houston got hit in the opening game and had to leave the game. Full count now on DeShields. Delano getting on base this year at a .328 clip, so better than league average. Payoff pitch, and he stays alive.
Giolito's numbers are not where he wants them to be so far this season, but last year when he was called up, pitched really well. He had 7 starts. He went 3-3, but his ERA was .238. But he only had 12 walks in 45 innings. He has 32 walks in 41 innings so far this year, 33 after the one he had today.
Yeah, that's probably the most troubling number of all as he strikes out to Shields, 1 away.
Walks have almost tripled. And it's a short sample, so he's obviously going through some growing pains at the big league level. But command was not an issue for him. That was his strength last year. And opponents only hit 190 against him. Coming into the offseason and going to spring training, the White Sox had to feel pretty good about Giolito based on his 45-inning audition last year. The same was true of Carson Fulmer, who pitched pretty well last year for the White Sox and has struggled this year, which I guess just illustrates how hard it is to pitch in the big leagues and be consistent for a young starting pitcher. Just so rare that a young starter comes up for any team at ages 22, 23, 24 and has success right off the bat and maintains it without a little hiccup here and there. And that's what we saw from Carson Fulmer and what it appears that Giolito's going through now as well.
Upstairs, 3-0. You mentioned spring training this year for Giolito, and earlier said something about how, you know, curveball they think can be a good pitch, but he doesn't use it a lot. Apparently during spring training he was really working on it and it was excellent, but they have not seen much of it at all during the regular season, and I'm sure there are some who are wondering maybe why not try that a little more.
Where is it?
Walks 2 for a second time tonight.
But I'm pretty confident that if you talk to almost any general manager in baseball, any scouting director in baseball, one of the things they would say is how difficult it is to develop young starting pitchers who take the bull by the horns, get the job done the minute they get to the big leagues and stay that way. Just very difficult. Occasionally you'll see guys do it, but more often than not there's some bumps along the way. Just all you have to do is look at the first round of the draft any year that you want to look. And occasionally you'll see Roger Clemens in the first round and other pitchers like that, but the first round of every draft is sprinkled with a lot of pitchers, even college pitchers, not just high school pitchers, who don't enjoy a lot of success at the big league level. It's just the nature of the game and how hard it is to find young pitchers, project what they're going to be like when they get older. Are they going to have more velocity? Will they develop another pitch? Will they develop better command? And the major question is, will they stay healthy?
2-1 on Kiner-Falefa. How about just a couple of years ago? I mean, it was like, what, 2014, somewhere in there. The first pick overall in the draft, a college pitcher who for 2 years in a row was suspected to be the top pick, Mark Appel out of Stanford.
Yeah.
And Houston took him the second year with the #1 pick overall. He's already out of the game.
I won't say it's shocking because it's so hard to find, scout, develop those players. But you would have thought with Mark Appel, okay, he's the top pick in the draft. Stardom is hoped for and predicted by some. At the same time, you would say, even if he's not a star, you would say he's going to have a representative big league career and at least pitch in the big leagues. But you're right. Did he even pitch in the big leagues? Did he get to the big leagues?
That's a good question.
I don't remember if he did. If he did, it wasn't for very long. But yeah, that's a great example.
Two to Kiner-Falefa. Whoa, look out. That one got a piece of him. So, 2 men are on as 2 will move up a base. That one just barely nicked Kiner-Falefa, fortunately.
We mentioned that Giolito had walked 32 in 41 innings coming into the game. He'd also hit 7 batters. So add a couple of walks, both of them to Chu, and now a hit batter. Kind of Falefa to those numbers. And command issues remain pretty apparent.
So now 2 base runners in the heart of the order. Here's Nomar Mazara. He doubled his last time up and takes one outside for ball 1. Look at this. After getting ahead, Mazara hitting .350 and the on-base plus slugging over 1,000 versus when he falls behind 0-1. So really good start here, and it goes to 2-0. Answer your question, Tom, on Mark Appel. No, he did not.
Never pitched in the big leagues. So I think you have to say a highly successful, highly touted college pitcher, first pick in the draft. It is. I have to say that it is shocking that he never threw a ball in the big leagues.
This one grounded to the left side. Anderson with a backhand stop goes the short way to second, but Moncada never had it. Everybody's safe. A lot of times you'll see that out and they'll say, well, he lost it on the exchange. He did not. He never had that ball, and Kiner Falefa is safe.
Another example of Nomar hitting the ball the other way on the ground. It almost got another base hit. Anderson had to go to his right to make that play. Close play at second. Never had the ball.
So they're loaded up now. And Rick Renteria, the skipper,
shot out of the dugout.
Yeah.
Oh, great spot for Jurickson, who's swinging the bat well. Had a few RBIs in the game last night on a couple of singles. Has a double and scored a run in this game so far. Kind of a confidence boosting trip to the mound by the skipper, Renteria. Ease the tension a little bit. Allow him to relax and make the kind of pitch he needs to make right here. We'll see if it works.
So bases loaded. Remember, yesterday in the 3rd inning, the Rangers had the bases loaded. This one swung on and lifted out into medium deep right center. Engel is underneath it. Tagging at third, Chu. He'll head to the plate to throw to third. Not in time.
That was close. That's one of those plays where you see that throw coming in and you say the runner that tagged at third better get home before that play's made at third base or the run won't count. That was a strong throw by Engel in center field from fairly deep in right center field. There's a look at Chu, and the runner at third knows he has to sprint. He can't say to himself, well, they can't throw me out, I'll just jog home. Because if he does that and this throw is a little bit to the right and the tag is made, then the run doesn't count.
Profar drives in a second run, makes it 3-0 Rangers, and now men on the corners for Joey Gallo.
And that was a good swing by Jurickson at a pitch he hit in the barrel of the bat. Would have been more than a sacrifice fly if he didn't get underneath it quite as much. Jurickson continues to have a lot of solid at bats. Drove in 3 last night. There's a couple today.
Gallo struck out looking in the second. To the count. Rangers loaded the bases this inning without the benefit of a base hit. Walk, a hit batter, and error. And then it was a sac fly by Profar to bring in a run. We saw a little bit of this yesterday. The Rangers were scoring runs really without much in the way of base hits in the early portion of the game. They would end up scoring 12 on 10 hits when it was all said and done. But the White Sox have found ways at times to not just kick the door open, but really wave the Rangers right in through that door. And to their credit, the Rangers have taken advantage of it. Now, last inning, they scored their 2 runs on 3 doubles. Giolito closing in on 60 pitches as he works here in the 3rd inning. Gallo swings and hits this one high in the air out to left center, but hung up there long enough for Garcia to get to it, and the inning is done. The Rangers, though, add another run for that guy, Ariel Jurado, who, by the way, got his first strikeout in his big league career last inning. Emily Jones will have more on him when we come back.
Great teammate over the last couple of years. He's a good sinker ball pitcher, and it's fun for me to get to experience these moments with the guys that I shared so many minor league experiences with. And also a little surreal for Isaiah to be, the older guy in the bunch, or the one with more experience at this level. So Isaiah taking it all in and trying to be a good friend and teammate to his current big league teammate.
Now, how about that? Doesn't take long, right? Next thing you know, you're a mentor. It's awesome.
Well, I'm sure it is a lot more comfortable when you get to the big leagues, when there's a couple of guys there that you played in the minor leagues with. Much more so than if you're the sole youngster on a veteran team. But there's so many young kids that have played together in the minor leagues. There has to be a great sense of camaraderie amongst the young players who, in a lot of cases, have grown up almost at every level together in the minor leagues.
He's got to be proud so far the way his old teammate is throwing the baseball. Jurado, who has allowed just the 1 hit, now deals with the 8 and 9 hitters here in the 3rd inning. Omar Narvaez, and that one is inside 2-2. Narvaez hitting just 179. Jurado's 2-2. And another foul ball over to the left side. One thing kind of interesting so far from Jurado has been the number of balls hit in the air, because he usually does a lot of his work on the ground. This year, 57% of his outs have been ground ball outs. But that's a different league. 3-2. And this one lined over 3rd, base hit by Narvaez. And he will chug for 2nd base and have that one easily. So 2nd double of the night for the White Sox. They had the lead man on and in scoring position. Well, our Kubota power stats for Jurado. How about this? Not just this year, but let's take it back into the end of last season. His last 9 starts at .218 earned run average at AA Frisco. And maybe bigger still, 2 or fewer runs in 8 of those 9 starts. So really consistent and very good dating back to last season. AA Frisco. It got him the call up today. Engel, man, just does get out of the way of that one.
Tough to bunt these days. Well, that's one of those, the angle of his bat. It could have hit the bat, come back and hit him in the face after it hit his bat.
Engel, a 186 hitter, and he squares again, and that one comes up on him. Whoa. So Tom, does he square again?
I might back up a foot before I squared up again. The bad part of this at bat as the count's 0-2. He's trying to get out of the way to keep from being drilled, and both balls, I think, hit the bat. 2 foul balls. Now he can't bunt. Counts 0-2. That's a pretty rough start to this at bat.
Jurado's 0-2. He got in on the hands, so he's working him in. Now we saw Engel yesterday. Batted 8th in yesterday's game. Popped up 3 times on the infield and also grounded out. A tough night at the plate. Hits this one high in the air out to left field. Gallo drifts underneath it. 1 out. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with John Radigan. All right, thanks, John.
It's a pretty typical day for Corey Kluber. 7 innings, 2 runs, 10 strikeouts.
Gotta like the pitching in that series. Those 2 teams get together and there's some great matchups. Yoan Moncada now, the leadoff man, 0 for 1. Nothing Rangers lead, but Narvaez out there at second base with the leadoff double. Jurado dumps it in there. 1-1 the count. So the Rangers have 3 hits. The White Sox have 2 hits. All 5 of the hits in this game have been doubles. Ground ball right side. Odor to a knee. And that'll take care of Moncada. The runner does advance. And Narvaez now at third base. Well, great seats still available for the Yankees and Rangers. That's Monday through Wednesday. Only time Yankees come through town. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Figure to see some big hitters in that series. Joey Gallo, you see, since the beginning of last year, 5th in terms of number of batted balls in excess of 110 miles per hour. 2 of the 3 ahead of him play for the Yankees, Stanton and Judge.
With 5 doubles in the game, 4 of them have gone to the opposite field. The only double that was pulled was the double that Jurickson hit down the right field line.
Two balls and no strikes on Yolmer Sanchez. That's odd. Two very young pitchers today. Jurado just 22 years old. And this is outside again. Just a couple years ago, Jurado was the Nolan Ryan Pitcher of the Year. Great honor. Best minor league pitcher in the Rangers system. Each year awarded a particular honor, and that was in 2015. He was right there on par with the Tom Grieve minor league player of the year. Close, but it's full count now. Make you uncomfortable that your name is associated to an award?
You know, you just kind of take for granted that people can only dream about being included in that sentence, you know? Something to shoot for, though.
That's right. There's ball 4, and Sanchez is on. So 2 base runners for the White Sox in his 3rd inning.
When you look at Jurado's minor league numbers, he's had over 500 innings in the minor leagues. He's only walked 102, so per 9 innings he walks less than 2 batters in his minor league career. That's pretty good control. Sanchez is swinging the bat pretty well. He's knocked in 20 runs this year. He's hitting 286, but probably wouldn't want to walk him ahead of Abreu. You'd rather see Abreu lead off the next inning.
Abreu had the double earlier. Takes ball 1. Our TXU Energy power player to watch, Jose Abreu. 299 extra base hits since his debut in 2014. And that is 3rd most in Major League Baseball. You've made the observation, Tom, that in his first 4 years in the big leagues, over 100 RBIs every year, 25 home runs every year. And there aren't too many guys who can lay claim to that kind of a start to a big league career.
No, there's not. A couple that are pretty good players. Were pretty good players.
Albert Pujols and Joe DiMaggio. Abreu, the 31-year-old Cuban immigrant, and he takes outside. It's 2-1. Ariel Jurado has not had a whole lot of difficulty in this one yet. Behind a very good hitter with a couple of men on. Gets him to foul that one away. It's 2-2.
Abreu had a season in Cuba in 2010. It almost looks like it's a misprint. In 66 games in Cuba, he hit .450 with 33 home runs and 93 RBIs. That's in 66 games. His OPS was 1583. That was a pretty good stepping stone to the big leagues for him.
These are imaginary stats.
I know it does. It looks like they're fake.
Hard ground ball, and that one through. Narvaez scores. It's a 3-1 game. Abreu comes through with the RBI, his 24th of the year.
He just seems to hit the ball on the barrel of the bat frequently. Pitch on the outside corner. High sinker. Really didn't get the sinking action he might have liked. So it's a hard hit ball, but you know, with a little luck, maybe it goes right at Profar. It's the last out of the inning. He just found a hole with it, although it was solidly hit.
So a couple of base runners now for Matt Davidson, who's 0 for 1. And Jurado, well, he does seem to favor going inside on right-handed hitters. So he's working hard to establish that inside part of the plate. He's not been bashful. This one fouled away. 1-1.
Well, as a guy that's not overpowering with velocity and has good movement, that really is the way he has a chance to be successful, is to be able to, with that movement, pound in on the right-hand hitters. And you've seen him do it well to the left-hand hitters too. Start it inside and catch the inside part of the plate. That's pretty much what he needs to do at the big league level. He doesn't want to get that out over the plate. Good example of that is the one Abreu just hit. That was a sinker that was high and belt high and out over the plate. And Abreu had a good swing at it.
One to Davidson. This one flared over short, drops in, base hit. They're going to send Yolmer Sanchez. Here comes a throw. It's up the line. Davidson drives in a run, and it's a 3-2 ball game.
That's a fastball and a sinker. He got it in, not a strike. Accomplished what he wanted to do, hit the batter off the handle of the bat. But Davidson elevated it and blooped it over shortstop. Softly hit ball, but it got the job done.
quick conversation out on the mound. Chirinos, Odor, and Jurado, and Chirinos back there. Maybe give him a moment just to catch his breath. A longer third inning for Ariel Jurado, and you can see that the second time through the order, the White Sox certainly a little sharper against him. 2 for 3 with a walk. Polka takes one in. Polka popped up in the second. This one lifted out to left field. Gallo going back near the wall, and that one is off the fence. Abreu is in. Davidson is in, and that is a triple for Polka. White Sox with the lead 4-3.
Polka put a charge in that to the opposite field. It jumped off his bat. Looked like it might have a chance to carry out of the ballpark. Ball tailing away on the outside corner, but it's up in the strike zone. Big guy with some strength. Hopefully Joey's all right. He ran straight into that wall out there. Smashed into the wall. Didn't even look like he slowed down when he hit the wall. And Kevin Harmon's going to come out and make sure he's okay.
Now Harmon and Jeff Bannister jogging out there. Let's take a look at that again. Seen the outfield walls do a little damage. You can see him. All right.
He really didn't slow down very much as he went into the wall.
I don't like the way he came away from the wall, the way he held that right shoulder, and the way he's kind of flexing it right now. But convinced everybody is okay. Meanwhile, a break for Jurado there. 4 runs in the inning. Polka is at third. Now the 8th batter of the inning, Yuri Garcia, comes to the plate. This ball ripped. Jurado has made appreciably more pitches in this inning than he did in the first 2 combined. 24 pitches in the first 2 innings for Jurado. That was number 31. Just for the 3rd alone. But he's ahead of Garcia now, 0-2.
Same pitch Garcia struck out at on the first time up at bat. Curveball down and in.
That Garcia to strike out swinging last time up. Holds up on that one. It's 1-2. Well, bouncer, shortstop. Plenty of time for Profar. Real nice dig over at first to end the inning, but a 4-run bottom of the 3rd, and the White Sox have taken the lead. Out by Amir Garrett. Garrett was excited about it. He said, yeah, that's right. I'm pretty excited. Baez, not known to back down from anybody. And here we go. Baez hit a grand slam off Garrett last year. And I think Garrett remembered that, and so he felt good.
Well, get your strikeout, you know, get a little emotion off, but don't carry it that far. I don't think any need for that.
Reds won that game today, 5-4, and walk-off fashion.
Here's another rule you could implement in baseball.
Yeah.
When two players get into an argument, it's a $100,000 fine for anyone that gets in the way of the fight for the next minute. For the next minute. So in other words, if the pitcher wants to charge the batter wants to charge the pitcher, no one can get in the way for, say, 30 seconds.
I was going to say, I'm glad you pulled that back down.
Yeah, minute was too much damage could be done in a minute.
Oh, those guys would be exhausted. They'd be laying on the ground.
But those scrums never happen without the thought that nothing's going to happen anyway, because 50 guys are going to stand in a pile and push each other like a rugby match. So if you want to fight, go for it.
3-1 to count to Rougned Odor.
That's not really something I propose before people say I'm trying to promote whatever, WWE.
Switchboards lighten up.
It would stop a lot of the shouting. That would have been a pretty good fight, though, Baez and Garrett, by the looks of it.
I think they both would have welcomed the opportunity. In your career, how many times did you dust it up? I mean, you were part of some of the all-time great nights.
I never started any. I had to take part in some, but I can't say it was something I looked forward to. Some guys couldn't wait for that to happen. Mike Hargrove would have been one of them.
Odor hits one high in the air out to center field. Looked like he just about got it, but Engel pulls it in, one away. Well, that's a couple of swings in this series where Odor is missed by just a hair.
A couple he's missed, and then the last time up, he drove that ball to left center field pretty well, too. 380, 385 feet. Had to reach for that one just a little bit. Still went close to 400 feet.
Robinson Chirinos. So when you did get in those, when you were a part of those dust-ups, did you just, I hate to ask it this way, but I mean, do you look for a friendly face and just say, hey, come here, I'll grab you, you grab me.
No, I didn't do that, but you definitely look around to make sure that you don't get punched when you're not ready for it.
Because, you probably know the 3 or 4 crazy guys on the other side that you're trying to avoid. Bunt third base side, and that's a beauty. Nothing that Sanchez can do with that. Chirinos bunts his way on with one out here in the 4th inning.
Well, that should be a pretty good indication that if Robinson could get a bunt down, so can the rest of the guys. Robbie's not known for his bunting, but he took advantage of where Sanchez was playing way back. Why not? Going to give it to you? Go ahead and take it. Absolutely. That was a pretty nice bunt, too.
Now Sanchez plays up a little bit with Guzman up there. Giolito with the long pause. Guzman, though, hits this one high in the air out to center. Not going to go anywhere. Engel, in fact, coming in. And there are 2 away. Well, come on out to the ballpark. Memorial Day weekend, Rangers and the Royals. First 15,000 fans to the game on Sunday, May 27th. They're going to get a Rangers cap courtesy of Carter Blood Care. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972 Rangers. Hey, by the way, we were talking about the cold weather and people bundled up. That's a great look right there. Love the cap. Was that guy in shirt sleeves, though, the first guy we saw, the first Rangers fan?
Yeah.
Just hanging out.
I think one of the best fights the Rangers ever had was against Kansas City when Willie Horton, 1977, when Willie was playing for the Rangers. Darryl Porter got into an altercation with Bump Wills. In fact, started the altercation. And the next thing Darryl Porter saw was Willie Horton right in his face. And Willie didn't punch him. Willie knew he could hurt somebody, so he just kind of slapped him.
Yeah.
But Darryl kept popping off, and Willie was so mad that he went back to the club. They got kicked out. He called the visiting clubhouse and he told them, "I'm on my way over. I'll meet you in the parking lot when nobody's around and we'll settle it." And he never got to the clubhouse, but if he did, he'd have been by himself because Daryl Porter would not have come out of that door. There were a lot of guys that I don't think you'd want to get in a fight with, but Willie Horton would have been right at the top of that list. Very mild-mannered, one of the best teammates that any of us ever had. But under those circumstances, that's a guy to stay away from.
Shields lifts one into short right field. Polka coming on. It'll make for a quiet top of the fourth inning. Rangers leave a man. And to the bottom of the fourth we go in a one-run game. And to look at our progressive upcoming schedule. Wrap this thing up tomorrow afternoon. Put an end to this three-city trip for the Rangers. Then it's back home for the lion's share of games. You see the Yankees and Royals on the next homestand. Oakland and Houston coming to town after the short roadie out to the West Coast. So a lot of home games coming up for the Rangers. First, a little business to finish here today and tomorrow. Bottom of the order coming in this fourth inning. Tim Anderson, 0 for 1. Ariel Jurado, and his first pitch a little bit low. Got Anderson to ground out on the second inning. White Sox, though, last inning put together a 4-run rally, and most of the damage, really all of the damage, coming with 2 outs. A 2-out walk to Yolmer Sanchez kind of opened the door. You said it at the time, Tom, that you'd rather face the next guy, Abreu, leading off an inning, not with runners on base.
Yeah, and not to take anything away from Sanchez either, because he's having a nice season. He's been hitting over 330 in the month of May and 286 on the season, so he's not a soft touch by any means. But Abreu's one of the 4 or 5 best RBI guys in the league coming up next.
Two and two the count on Anderson. Jurado over 60 pitches on the night. Ground ball third. Nice play again on a backhand by Kiner Falefa. Throws out Anderson, 1 away.
He just handles himself, as we've been saying, and so have other people been saying. He handles himself well wherever he's in the lineup. This time at third base, a hard hit ball. Ball seems to stick right in the pocket of his glove most of the time, and his throws are generally accurate.
Well done. Now Narvaez, who had the double last inning, and eventually came around to score the first White Sox run of the night. He takes a strike on the inside corner. Fly ball center field. Shields positioned well, 2 away. Hey, don't miss the T-Mobile Friday fireworks on Star Wars weekend. Coming out to the ballpark on the 25th. See the Royals and Rangers, and then stick around to enjoy a post-game fireworks show set to the music of Star Wars. Fans can get $16 upper reserve tickets for this Friday home game, thanks to Fox Sports Southwest and T-Mobile. Yeah, these guys will be on the charter with us tomorrow.
Good luck trying to find a seat.
Well, it's a Millennium Falcon. It'll be spacious, I'm
Take
sure.
their own charter.
And we'll get home really fast.
Here's a good idea for post-game celebration too. It wouldn't happen every game, but occasionally if 2 players were mad enough at each other, one could offer a challenge. I challenge you to a fight after the game, and the fans could stay and watch it. Be right at home plate. Umpires would stay out to officiate, and it would last until one of the players submitted to the other player.
And so they could present this challenge at any point in the game.
Any point in the game, yeah. And the person that was challenged had the opportunity to accept or deny.
Tom Grieve, ladies and gentlemen, dystopian take on baseball.
There's a few people that leave before fireworks start. There wouldn't be anybody that left before that started.
Great inning by Jurado, who challenges you to a fight. We go to the fifth
I
inning, 4-3.
deny.
It'll be the 2, 3, and 4 batters this inning for the Rangers. Chu, Kiner Falefa, and Mazzara. Chu has walked twice, so whatever it is, Giolito perhaps not wanting to tempt Shin-Soo Choo, who is swinging a pretty good bat. Chu has now reached safely in 7 of his last 8 plate appearances. And he takes a gift strike to Giolito. That looked maybe just a little wide. Got a pretty good pitch right there, 0-2. So Ariel Jurado has looked good on the mound for the Rangers. Lucas Giolito, who has struggled at times this year for the White Sox, just 23 years old, but a little sharper tonight than he has been in a little while. His home numbers were terrible.
See if he gets a little stronger as the game goes on. See if he weathered the storm in the 2nd and 3rd innings. And he had to throw a lot of pitches, gave up a few runs.
Tapper, right side. Abreu will flip it to Giolito, and they get Chu by several steps. Look at these numbers, the home run. You referenced them earlier, Tom, but it's one thing to be bad at home. It's another thing to have an ERA nearly 14.
Yeah, he's definitely struggled at home. One thing that he has done in this game, though, is he started to utilize his off-speed pitches a little bit better. That pitch that Shin-Soo dribbled to first base was a pretty good changeup. Pitch before it was a ball, but a pretty good curveball. And, you know, without the dominating fastball, he's utilizing the movement on his fastball, but that's pretty much been where he's been all day, 91 or 92 miles an hour. His success is going to be dependent on developing and being successful with his other pitches.
Inside, he hits Kiner Falefa, and that's the 2nd time tonight that he has plunked Isaiah. So Rangers have a base runner here with 1 out.
9th batter he's hit this year, and this is his 9th start. Ball just ran way in. Isaiah just turns and takes the glancing blow off the shoulder.
Giolito has hit more batters than any other American League pitcher. He has issued more walks than any qualifying American League pitcher. The on-base percentage of .392 that he has allowed this year, highest of any American League pitcher. Battling here, though, with a 1-run lead. That one comes way in and almost got a piece of Mazzara. And Giolito, definitely a different guy than he was when he was a 1st-round draft pick. The Washington Nationals took him with the 16th pick overall in 2012 out of high school. Played at Harvard Westlake down in LA. Checks in on Kiner Falefa. And that was an incredible high school team that he was on. Max Fried, who was selected with the 7th overall pick that same draft by the Padres, was also on that team. Fried now pitches for the Atlanta Braves. So neither of those two, the team that originally drafted them, 2-0 the count. Giolito was going to go to UCLA before accepting the offer from the Nationals. Comes from a very interesting family. And he told everybody before that draft, go ahead and draft me, but you're going to have to pay me a lot. It was the Nationals who took the chance on him, 2-1. His parents, Rick Giolito and Lindsey Frost, are both pretty big players in Hollywood. His dad did some acting on those what do you call it, soap operas, but then also part of Twin Peaks. One of my all-time favorites, Jake and the Fat Man. 2-1. His mom, also a very big actress, Boston legal without a trace. Frazier. So I don't. My guess is he didn't need money. So maybe when you're in that position, it's easier to tell people, if you want to sign me, it's going to take a whole lot. But he was a hard thrower, like 97 plus. Had Tommy John surgery 2 years after being drafted, and has had to kind of change his style a little bit. In fact, after he came out of Tommy John surgery, Giolito said that all of a sudden the changeup just seemed to click for him. Well, the arm action, whatever the case, but the ball just kind of came out right and felt like it was a much more effective pitch for him. He just had to find a way. Having lost a lot of velocity from those heydays back in 2012 and 13 when he had an electric arm. Two to Mazzara. A high fly ball. Engel. Angling back and has plenty of room. 2 away. Okay, time for a word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
$250 down, $250 a month or less on select new Kias in stock only at southwestkia.com.
All right, Tom, what can you tell me about Jake and the Fat Man? Did you ever see it?
I've heard, I can tell you that I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it, and I never watched one, so I can't really add much to it.
Yeah, I don't have anything on it either. I think it's.
I thought you said it was one of your favorites.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh.
My guess is that it was a cop drama type thing.
Okay, maybe. There's people watching right now who know what it's about.
Oh, I'm sure.
Maybe they'll tweet you.
Here's Profar. Profar's driven in a run each of his first 2 times up today.
John Blake's probably watching. He's probably a big Jake and the Fat Man fan.
Yeah. You can see
He
that.
could text us.
Giolito's 1-0. Pulled foul. I know Blake well enough to know that probably not a lot of recreational viewing of meaningless dramas and TV shows. If John's tuning in to something other than a ball game on TV, it's like 60 minutes, right?
History Station, maybe.
Yep.
National Geographic.
Maybe the royal wedding.
Maybe.
Off the plate, 2-1.
Well, Jurickson's had some good at-bats in this game. He roped a double to right field. Just missed on a sacrifice fly, got underneath it. He's driven in a couple of runs.
Two and 1. And that's high. All right, let's look at our Southwest Airlines player breakdown. Giolito today, 8 fly ball outs. Only the 2 strikeouts for him. Gave up a couple of runs in the second, 1 in the third. Worried about Kiner Falefa. This ball hit well down in that right field corner, but foul.
Another good swing.
Polka nicely takes care of the fans who lost their big moment there and catching that foul ball.
You know, last night we were talking about the change to quicken the game by calling someone out after they had more than 2 foul balls with 2 strikes.
Yep.
Jurickson would be a victim of that rule.
He would. He would. It would hurt.
He's fouled off 35% of the strikes that he's seen. That doesn't sound like that could be true. That's a lot of foul balls.
That's a lot of foul balls. But he's, you know, he piles up the pitches per at bat. There's a bouncer third base. Sanchez had it played well to his left. So the inning is done. Rangers leave another man. We're halfway there. White Sox leading at 4-3. For an autograph session with Nomar Mazara at the Whataburger, 3204 Town East Boulevard in Mesquite. Starts at 10:30 in the morning. Well, there, sign up to be a Whataburger Whata fan. You could win tickets to a Rangers game and Whataburger for a year. Go to TexasRangers.com/appearances for more information. Well, the fifth inning of the first pitch fouled away by Yoan Moncada. Third game in our 4-game series here. White Sox won the opener on Thursday night. Rangers came back last night to even things up. And this one is on the inside corner. 0-2. Moncada tonight hitless in 2 tries. Ariel Jurado, the 22-year-old rookie, and this one smashed by first. Moncada will have extra bases. Mazara over to pick it up in the corner. Moncada will pull up at second and the leadoff double.
First hit for Moncada tonight. But left-handed, he's been much stronger than he has been right-handed. Left-handed, he's a .309 hitter coming into the game. Pretty good pitch, down and in. Moncada made contact, kept it fair right down the line. Moncada in his last 3 weeks, last 21 games, hitting over .320. And he's starting to heat up a little bit.
He's out there to start this 5th inning. And brings up Yolmer Sanchez, a switch hitting third baseman. Popped up, foul ground, and that one headed up into the stands. Sanchez last year spent the first 4 months of the year at second base, and then when Todd Frazier was traded away, they had an opening at third, and they switched Sanchez over to the hot corner, and he got hot. He just seemed to take to it real well. 8 home runs, 34 RBIs in the last 2 months of the year. Real good defensive player. They use him all over the place, though he has really settled in at third for them. And he has one of the bigger at bats of the game tonight. That walk with 2 out in the 3rd inning kept the inning going. And eventually the White Sox would score 4 2-out runs. This time Jurado gets him to yank it foul. Stays 0-2. Tom, you were talking about the month of May for Yolmer Sanchez earlier. And you see pretty good numbers for him.
Well, since the start of 2017, he's hit 12 triples. That's the second most in the American League.
Some activity in the bullpen. Our bullpen live look brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Brandon Mann hoping to get in his 3rd game in the big leagues at some point today. Little comebacker over the mound. Profar, good grab, and throws out Sanchez for out number 1.
Tailing away from him, made some soft contact. Jurickson got rid of it quickly, made the play look easy. Not going to pitch to Abreu this time. That's a decision by the manager, Jeff Bannister, that most people would wholeheartedly agree with. I don't know anyone that wouldn't agree with that decision. We all like to second-guess decisions in baseball, but that one is pretty much not second-guessable.
So they're on the corners.
What you hope for here is a ground ball, turn a double play.
Roquel out there to talk this one through. Boy, you'd love to get Jurado through 5 innings in his first big league start. Needs that double play to get there. Plate umpire Scott Berry out to break it up. 4 1/3 so far. One walk, the one strikeout. The walk was a very big one, though. So we'll see. He hasn't gotten a ton of ground balls. Early on, it was fly balls and pop-ups. You see the White Sox, so they ground into a lot of double plays, 38 of them. 5th most in baseball. And since the early innings, Jurado has done a much better job of getting ground balls. 5 of the last 6 outs have been on the ground. So maybe this is the situation where he'll get the real big ground ball tonight, that double play, and get his team back in the dugout. Davidson has grounded into 5 double plays this year. One and one the count. Turns out went foul for strike 2. Davidson, in 2009, the 35th pick overall in the big league draft. 2 picks ahead of James Paxton. Just threw the no-hitter recently. One-two pitch. A swing and a miss. Strike 3. Second strikeout for Jurado, and a big one for him. 2 away.
Sure was. And Ariel is not known as a strikeout pitcher, but that was a big strikeout with 1st and 3rd and 1 out. All you got to have to do is have some contact. You got a great chance to score a run, but he made a nice pitch with his sinker on the outside corner to get that strikeout.
Boy, he's going to come just short of getting through 5 innings. Jeff Bannister out there to give him the little pep talk, take the baseball, and he turns it over to his bullpen. Bottom of the 5th inning, 4-3. All right, thanks, John. And here we have the 34-year-old Brandon Mann, who less than a week ago made his big league debut, and he comes in to replace the 22-year-old who just made his big
quite
league
a contrast
debut.
in the 2 pitchers.
Yeah, what a game. Daniel Palka, the hitter, he takes outside, 2-0. See what Palka has done tonight. Mann, meanwhile, just his 3rd big league appearance. Celebrated his 34th birthday on Wednesday. Called up on Sunday, pitched in a couple of games, celebrated a birthday. It's been an eventful week. He's behind here, 3-0. Well, this is rather significant spot, too, with Moncada at 3rd base and Abreu at 1st. Palka waits on a 3-0, and he's swinging and pulls it. It's 3-1. He was looking to get that right down the middle and hammer it.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on board with that. Get a good pitch, why not? Got a younger player up there with power. You're not going to get a better situation to look for a pitch and take advantage of it than that.
He's looking to be aggressive right here, too. 3-1. But that one too far in. So Palka walks. That loads the bases. Abreu moves on to 2nd base, and here is Leury Garcia, who is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a groundout. See what Garcia has done so far. He's played in all 3 games of this series. Started 2 of them, and he bounces this one towards short. And Profar will go the short way to force out Polka and in the inning. So they leave him loaded. Man, gets Jurado out of the jam. With AI Thin Q. Wow, some great scenes from this beautiful city. We're in Chicago tonight. We'll be back here again tomorrow afternoon for the final game of the series. A 1-run game as we move it along to the 6th inning, and Lucas Giolito has hung in there for the White Sox. Deal with Joey Gallo to start things off. Pours in strike 1. Gallo, Odor, and Robinson Chirinos in the 6th. Hard hit smash up the middle. Snared on a backhand by Anderson. Gallo is out, but that was an absolute missile. Wow.
Somehow Giolito got his glove on that ball, turned it into an out. That's frustrating for a hitter. It's the only place where Giolito could have gotten the glove on the ball. He kind of falls off toward first base, and that's where his glove is.
I think he whiffed it.
Did he?
I don't think that hit it. I mean, I could be wrong.
Maybe he did.
It came up there pretty quickly.
I just thought it was hit harder than that. I thought if he didn't slow it down, it would have gone into center field.
Bunt foul by Odor. Yeah, when I looked at it, it looked like it had some, I don't know, some break on it. Let's see. Here it comes. I don't know. I can't tell. That's one where I guess I looked at it and I thought that it didn't hit from that view.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't hit as hard as it looked if he didn't touch it, because it looked like where that ball was hit, if it was hit as hard as it looked, it would have shot by the infielder into center field.
I'm with you on that.
I'm not exactly sure.
They did score it officially a 1-6-3, so
that's what it looked like. I couldn't really see whether it hit the glove. Just the way the ball reacted after it got by the pitcher seemed to make it look like it slowed down and would have had to have hit his glove.
2 to Odor, a little high. And see Gallo a little frustrated after that one.
It is frustrating because he's had to hit into the shift all year long, and you finally hit a ball that you don't pull toward first base into the shift. It looked like it was headed right up the middle for a hard single to start the inning, and it turns into an out. That is frustrating.
Ground ball to the right side, and Moncada is there. 2 away.
Well, Giolito has settled down quite a bit since the 3 double second inning when the Rangers scored 2. The run in the 3rd was unearned. There was an error in that inning. But he had a scoreless 4th, 1 base runner, scoreless 5th, 1 base runner, 2 up, 2 down here in the 6th. So
the only hit he's allowed since the 2nd inning was the bunt single by this guy Chirinos. Retired 10 of the last 12 he's faced. .95 pitches for the night for Giolito, and he'll turn Chirinos off the plate with ball 1. Well, Robinson's been in good spirits on this road trip and in this series. That's his ball hard and just foul. 1-1. Hard to tell from here. Third base umpire DJ Rayburn right there on top of it, though. That ball was almost on top of him. Yep.
Well, that's not an easy one. That's a hooking line drive. Tough one to get out of the way of. Robinson's been 5 for 12 with 4 walks in the 4 games preceding this game. So he's swinging it pretty well right now. Seeing the ball pretty well, too.
1-1 pitch. And another foul ball. So Giolito getting up there in pitch count, and as a result, you'll see the activity out of the bullpen. Bruce Rondon preparing along with Luis Avilan. Of his hits, 2 strikes this year, 7 of them gone for extra bases, and he takes the ball 2-2. Needs a hit here to keep this inning going and potentially even force the White Sox into a move. In the dirt, and it's a full count. Not a lot going on for the Rangers since that second inning. 3 doubles in the second. Just a total of 4 hits tonight. After a big night yesterday. Rangers scored 12 runs in the win last night. Here's a 3-2 pitch. And Chirinos lifts it high in the air down the right field line. That one heading foul. Long run out there and dropped by Abreu.
He got a glove on it. Nice try. Had to go a long way for that ball. Slid and hit his glove, but didn't stick in his glove. Nice try. Big guy had to go a long way to try to catch that one. Almost came up with it. Hit off the wrist, off his wrist. The heel of his glove.
Did he go? He did. Scott Berry didn't need help. Chirinos strikes out, so the inning is done. We head to the last of the 6th inning.
View for Ariel Jurado. Had some good moments in this game. Got his first major league strikeout. Had a little bit of a problem with Jose Abreu, like most pitchers in the American League do. And other than the 3rd inning, he pitched very well. Ran into a little bit of a problem in the 3rd. 3 hits in a row. They ended up getting 4 runs off him in the 3rd inning, but he had a 1, 2, 3, 4th and got out of the 5th. 4 2/3, ended up giving up 4 runs. But for the 22-year-old coming straight out of Double-A ball, has to feel pretty good about his first outing. There's some good moments in it.
Yeah, and then the next question will be, to make another start here. This one popped up out into short left center. Profar makes the play. So the young guys been a big part of the story today. So is this guy, Brandon Mann. We check in again with Emily.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago when Brandon Mann made his major league debut. He has adjusted to life in the big leagues quite nicely, and it was interesting to hear he did a radio interview with the Ticket back in Dallas this week, and he revealed some of the drastic measures he went to get sleep in the minor leagues on a bus. He revealed that he bought 2 dog beds and would take the dog beds and place them on the floor in the aisle and sleep on those so he could get rest on the road trips. He said he tried a million different things, and this was the one that worked the best. So he went from sleeping on dog beds in the floor of a bus to flying on first-class charter with, waitress service and food and all that kind of stuff. Pretty nice upgrade for Mr. Mann.
Yeah, that kind of thing works out well for guys.
I'll say. I would have to think when you get to the big leagues, obviously playing in a big league game is a huge adjustment and an emotional thing for a player. But the first time you get to fly on the big league charter, the first time you get to stay in a 5-star hotel instead of a minor league hotel, which are fine. The minor league hotels are fine, but they're not quite the same as a 5-star hotel in a major city. And then the traveling secretary passes out the meal money for the road trip, and you look at it and in some cases say that's almost as much as my paycheck was in the minor leagues. Slight exaggeration. But those are very fun things to experience for the first time. When you're riding a bus in the minor leagues and all of a sudden you're on the charter and you pretty much get anything you want to eat or drink. And you check into the hotel and you have your own room instead of a roommate. And it's a beautiful room. And then you see how much money you have to spend on food on that road trip. Pretty exciting thing to go through.
It is.
I remember in spring training, the first big league spring training I went to, big league meal money in spring training in 1969, I guess it was $15 a day. And at first they were giving us our meals at the hotel, 3 meals a day, and players complained to the Players Association and they had to give us the money instead of requiring us to eat there. And how good it felt to get $15 a day to be able to eat on. And it was plenty. And I'm not sure what it is now, $90 or $100 a day probably.
Actually, it used to be $90 or $100, but that in that last collective bargaining agreement, they lost that.
Well, they gave it up so that.
And now they've got chefs and all sorts of.
They have great meals in the clubhouse everywhere they go. Kind of a trade-off. As much time as they spend in the clubhouse to pretty much have a short order cook in every clubhouse is well worth it.
And it's by and large it's healthier food too, I'm sure, or at least it does kind of give the team an opportunity to oversee just a little bit.
I think the teams are very happy about that. I agree. Have some control over the fuel that players take in.
There's Yoan Moncada. First they'll toss over first. Got some basic horror stories in minor leagues when I went through it. Now you would have had a little taste of some of that, right? When you played in Denver, did you guys? Was that a bus league? Did you guys fly a little bit?
We had our own plane.
Yeah.
It was a 2-prop plane.
Oh wow.
So it was air travel, but it was not first class air travel.
Well,
we had some fairly scary rides in bad weather with that little plane. I don't know how we all fit on the plane and had all the luggage on the plane.
In and out of the Rocky Mountain area. Must have been some knuckleball flights for you guys.
We had some bad ones. But it was a step up from the bus.
Did you ever have to do the bus stuff?
I did the bus in A-ball in the lower levels of the minor league. I played in the league in the South Atlantic League. It was the South Carolina League back then.
We're going. Go down to second. Just a little high. Heads into center field. The Shields with a chance to throw him out at third, but it's high as well. Engel has great speed, his 6th stolen base, and he moves up on the E2.
He's got a big lead, a good jump, and good speed. Robinson gets rid of it quickly, and I'm not sure if that's going to go as an error on Robinson or an error on Rugned. Rugned tried to catch it and make the tag all at once and just brought his glove down before the ball went in it, trying in his haste to make that tag.
That's interesting because he missed it, but he is charged with the error. It was an E4.
Yeah, it was a catchable ball. He missed it because he was trying to make the tag. It was a throw slightly high, but it was not a throw that was not catchable.
Oh, well, 2-0 to Moncada. That one is outside. It also eliminates that awkwardness on Star Wars night here, trying to figure out how to do the R2-D2 to stolen base E2. It wasn't coming together. It's an E4.
There we go.
There's a strike. 3-1. The count to Moncada.
But that year in the Western Carolina League, we were home to, away to the whole year. We never went on a long road trip. We never had a long homestand. It was pretty much on the road, off and on the whole season long.
Fly ball, center field. The Shields right there. The inning is over, and so the White Sox leave a man 90 feet away. We'll go to the 7th inning in a 1-run game. low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer. All right, top of the 7th inning here in Chicago. The White Sox lead by a run. And Bruce Rondon takes over out of the bullpen for Chicago.
Numbers for Rondon. This will be his 13th game. He's pitching pretty well lately. Hasn't allowed an earned run over his last 7 outings. That covers 6 in the 3rd. He has nice opponent's batting average, 224.
He starts Guzman off with strike 1. So we'll look at that bullpen here in the 7th. And onward, Lucas Giolito really did a pretty good job. And won the count on Guzman, who tonight has grounded out and flied out. The average is dipped under 200. Rondon just does catch a corner, 1-2. So Giolito tonight, 6 innings, allowed 3 runs, only 2 earned on 4 hits, walked 2, struck out 3. This ball hit out to right field, hangs up though for Polka, 1 away. Well, Coca-Cola Family Pack offers savings of over 50% on tickets, food, kids zone access, souvenir programs, and Coke soft drinks. Family Pack is a great way to catch the Rangers when they face the Royals on Sunday, May 27th. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials and get your Coca-Cola Family Pack today. I promise you, we'll have warmer weather for that one than we're enjoying here tonight. Shields fouls off.
Talk about how things have changed. We're talking about the Western Carolina League and the strange schedule. We didn't have a trainer. We didn't have a pitching coach. There was one person that cleaned the clubhouse and washed the uniforms. There was absolutely no food in the clubhouse. There was a Coke machine where you could get a soft drink. When the pitcher wanted to warm up, he found a ball, got the catcher, and went out and warmed up. The manager was a manager and like a playing coach, kind of like Bull Durham. There was no pitching coach. The pitcher warmed up, and nobody was there watching him, and he had to get the catcher to warm up. We had trips from Salisbury, North Carolina to Spartanburg, which was about a 5-hour ride, and a doubleheader on Sunday. We left at about 6 o'clock in the morning, got there about a half an hour before the game, nothing to eat before we left, nothing on the bus, didn't stop to eat. If the concession stand was open, you might try to grab a hot dog, and then played a doubleheader. It was about 100 degrees out. Got on the bus at probably around 6 o'clock, drove straight back without stopping, got back at the ballpark in Salisbury sometime, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night, 11:30 at night. Woke up and played the next day without really having a meal the whole day, let alone being hydrated with any type of decent drink.
That just sounds really dumb, all things considered.
Well, that's kind of the way it was, kind of the way things were done back then.
That's crazy. I mean, even now, there are plenty of times now I look at what they put minor league players through and you think, well, these are huge investments for major league organizations. And, you know, the meal money isn't a whole lot greater than $15 in a lot of leagues.
No, but I think in a lot of cases, especially at the lower levels, I believe, especially in the rookie league, the team provides them with a certain amount of meals, whether it's breakfast. But every team has a manager, a pitching coach, a hitting coach, another coach, a trainer, a physical conditioning coach. They have more people working to support one minor league team than we did in the whole minor leagues back then.
Take strike 1.
We had a roving minor league pitching coach. The only advice he ever gave one of the pitchers, as far as I could see, was he wouldn't let them keep one finger out of their glove. He made them put the finger in their glove. One day, Bill Dennehy was pitching in Buffalo, and he came back after catching a line drive, and he said, "Thank God I hadn't had my finger out of the glove on that one. I would have broken it." And the roving instructor got mad at him. As far as I could tell, that's the only words of wisdom he had. So yeah, it was a far cry from what the kids grow up with today.
2 swings and misses. So who would compile like the information like on the spin rates and exit velocities and stuff like that?
We're too aware of that. That was kind of like someone landing on the moon back then, what the spin rate was.
It really is amazing how the game has evolved in that amount of time.
And the meal money in A-ball then was $3 a day.
I can't believe you guys did 2 games out, 2 games in.
Yeah, pretty much the whole year.
What
a couple exceptions, but pretty much the whole year.
What was the longest trip? The
Spartanburg, 5 hours. I don't remember. I don't think there must have been a couple places we might have stayed overnight for one night. But I know we didn't stay overnight in Spartanburg when we came back. Spartanburg was an interesting field. It had a cinder block fence with no warning track. So there weren't too many acrobatic catches made up against that wall. If Joey Gallo ran into that wall like he ran into this wall, they would have had to cart him off the field in a stretcher.
Chu has walked a couple of times tonight.
No flap on the helmet. No batting gloves, no pine tar. I think the pitchers might have had a rosin bag. Flannel uniforms. It could go on and on and on. But you know what? We had a blast playing, and no one felt like you were being deprived. No one worried about whether you had a pitching coach. No one cared that you didn't have batting gloves. Still went out and enjoyed the game and played hard.
Chu thinks that was a foul ball, and I'm still not real sure. Yeah,
I think it is.
There seems to be a lot. It is.
He looked like, I thought for a second he was arguing with the umpire, but the umpire at first base had indicated.
Yeah, there we go. Right off the shoot. We saw that the other day, though. It was Guzman who found one off his foot, or at least thought he did. It was called a fair ball. Shields leaning but not going. Check swing. No, 2 went around. So that is strike 3, and there are 2 gone.
That was close.
So 2 away. And Kiner Falefa takes low, ball 1, and Shields takes off for second base. He'll turn. Now he's out at second with a potential tying run. Pass ball.
Yeah, it should be a pass ball. Tried to backhand it right in front of him. I don't think he needed to block that. I think the ball was high enough to catch it. He just chose to backhand it instead of put the palm of his glove up. Let's see if Rangers can take advantage of that extra base with a base hit right here.
One goes inside. 2-0. Last 2 times up. Kiner Falefa has taken 1 for the team.
One last mention of Salisbury.
Yeah.
You know who was on that team? Bobby Jones was on that team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
2-1. What was Bobby like as a teammate back then?
Bobby was 17 years old, skinny as a rail, and probably not a prospect at that level. And then he was drafted. He went to Vietnam. He spent 13 or 14 months over there in an artillery unit, loading mortar onto heavy guns for 13 months in Vietnam, and came back 30 pounds heavier and grew into a man and went back to the minor leagues, played his way to the big leagues, and spent 8 years playing in the big leagues. And Bobby said his whole life that without Vietnam, he probably would never have played in the big leagues.
Two all the way. Probably skinny as a rail back then, because I mean, let's face it, $3 a day meal money. maybe he got a little more to eat.
You know, there are places in Salisbury though where, you know, you could get a nice buffet at lunchtime. It probably cost about $1.50. A place where we go for breakfast and get a nice breakfast for a reasonable price. So it wasn't bad at home. It was going on the road where you didn't get a whole lot of decent food to eat.
Kind of Falefa chases one in the dirt. Narvaez throws him out, and the inning is done. So the Rangers lead the tying run in scoring position. They stand and stretch here in Chicago. White Sox leading 4-3.
When you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
4-3 our score. Bottom of the 7th inning tonight. Great to have you along with us out here at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. Home of the White Sox, a White Sox team that has struggled pretty dramatically here out of the gates this year. 11 wins, 30 losses. They lead by a run here tonight. They will send their 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Yolmer Sanchez, Jose Abreu, and Matt Davidson. Man out for another inning of work. This one fouled over to the right side and about 5 rows up in the stands. Overall record, of course, a tough one for the White Sox. It's a rebuild situation, and that is no secret, not to the fan base and certainly not to the men in uniform. Some of them know they're getting opportunities maybe a little ahead of schedule, but there are some really young, talented players here. Sanchez strikes out swinging, 1 away in the 7th inning. The record at home at 4-16, the worst start in franchise history. How about this? After 20 games, the all-time worst starts at home. Yankees of 1913, the Braves of just a couple of years ago, and then the Boston Americans, eventually renamed the Red Sox, all started 2-18. Those are some tough starts. Brandon Mann is done after the strikeout of Yolmer Sanchez. Jepson coming on for the Rangers when we come back. It's a 1-run game. Kevin Jepson takes over out of that Rangers bullpen with 1 out, nobody on in the 7th.
Yeah, Kevin's numbers on the season. This will be his 21st game. Kevin has pitched frequently for the Rangers. Comes into a game in the 7th inning. One of the rare times where the bullpen comes in with nobody on base in the middle of an inning.
Jose Abreu, the batter, and he fouls off strike 1. Abreu has been a tough out. 2 for 2 today, an intentional walk, a double, an RBI single. He has scored a run. Average up over 300 for the year. And just look at what he has done to the Rangers, not just in this series, but generally speaking. He is one of those guys who you sort of dread seeing when you come to town, because he's just done so much damage over the years. Made it a habit to do bad things to Rangers pitching. Lifetime 327 average with 6 home runs. It's in 26 games. One and 2 the count now. So Jepson, the third pitcher of the evening. Ariel Jurado, a 22-year-old right-hander, made his big league debut. Went 4 2/3 innings. Allowed 4 runs on 6 hits. Walked 2 and struck out 2. And Brandon Mann, an inning and 2/3 scoreless. Nice job again from him. 2-2 the count.
A great crowd tonight in Chicago on Ken Harrelson bobblehead night. The Hawk.
Yeah, so the Hawk just doing Sunday home games. We'll see him tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hawk in his final season as a broadcaster here in Chicago. Abreu hammers this ball high in the air, deep out to center field. The Shields is back, and that one is gone. 8th home run of the year for Abreu, and it gives Chicago a 2-run lead.
We pretty much talked about everything you could say about Abreu. His 4 years plus in the big leagues. He's just an outstanding middle-of-the-lineup hitter who's more than a power hitter. He's a good hitter. He uses the whole field. He has power to all fields. That inside-out swing that he utilizes. And when you catch him in a streak like he's in right now, he's hot right now. This is a 10th straight game. He's had a hit in, hitting over 400 in that streak. Single, double, intentional walk, and a home run today. You're seeing one of the best hitters in the league.
Five to 3 Chicago. Abreu 4 RBIs now in the last 2 games. Davidson drove in a run in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 3, and he fouls this one away. Rangers will have a little work to do offensively, and 2 innings left to do it. Part of the order will be coming up in the 8th. 3, 4, and 5 hitters. This one bounces away from Chirinos. 2-1. Jake Diekman getting ready in the bullpen. Foul over that right side, and no play for Ronald Guzman. Davidson, one of those unusual careers. Almost retired after the 2015 season. He spent it at AAA. It was his 2nd straight year at AAA, but he went home in the offseason, went back to where he played his Little League games, and trying to get back to that feeling again of loving the game and having fun with it. Next year he would make his big league debut, and he broke his foot in the first game and did not get back. Actually, that was just before that. It seemed like he would never get back. He broke his foot in 13. But now a guy who White Sox think he can provide some real pop for them in the middle of the order. 11 home runs this year. Now has 28 RBIs. Bounces it to 3rd. Falefa's had a busy day over there. Done a real nice job. 2 away.
We keep using the same word for him, but every day you watch him play, it's what comes to mind. He's just a very steady player that you can count on to make the play. To have a good solid at bat and make the play defensively. Very reliable player for a young rookie player.
The left-hander Daniel Polka coming up. Manning goes to the lefty out of the pen. Here comes Jake Diekman.
IBD day, and he was looking to raise awareness for inflammatory bowel disease, and what better way to do that than to host some kids who suffer from similar things that he did when he was a young child, and this is something very important to Jake and his wife Amanda, to raise awareness and help these kids feel like they're not alone, guys.
Yeah, he's done a lot of great work that way. Does some good work right here. Inducing a ground ball, the first pitch, and Guzman takes care of it. We're to the 8th inning, 5-3. We're coming up against Jace Fry. Fry becomes the 3rd pitcher of the evening for the White Sox. And you see his numbers, just his 6th relief appearance this year. Also, Trace Thompson comes on to take over in right field for Polka. So a little more athletic in the outfield now. Short things up defensively in these last couple of innings. Rangers, though, they'll be sending their 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Mazzara, Profar, and Gallo. So really great spot here if they are indeed going to get one, maybe both of these runs back. Mazzara 1 for 3, reached on an error, also doubled. He takes a strike here from Fry. Not a dramatic shift, but obviously shading Mazzara to pull the ball. And of course, we have seen him, and not just us, White Sox have had front row seats to see him use the other side effectively in this series. So they kind of mute that shift a little bit.
Yeah, I think over time this shift is probably turning into more of a traditional alignment. Maybe instead of shift, you start to call it shading instead of shifting.
Fry's 2-1 and a swing and a miss. We'll even the count. Fry has not allowed a hit yet to the first batter faced in an outing. It's always, of course, such a big key for a reliever to keep that first man off the bases. There aren't a lot of real high notes so far in the early part of the season for the White Sox. But Fry, a medium-sized left-hander, has done a pretty good job. And he strikes out Mazzara. One away in the 8th inning. Enjoy your next Rangers game in the comfort of a climate-controlled suite. We're at that time of year now where it really matters. Most suite rental packages do include parking and a food and beverage package. Go to TexasRangers.com/suites or call 972-RANGERS to get more details on how to reserve a suite for an upcoming ball game. Here's Profar. He swings and misses at strike 1.
And normally in this situation, you might expect Joakim Soria. Nate Jones seems to be getting closing opportunities right now. Soria probably, if he's not closing, the setup guy. But last night he came in to get an inning of work and had to throw 33 pitches, so he might not be available tonight.
So ball is short.
Jace Fry's done the job.
Two gone now for Joey Gallo. Well, tomorrow the final game of this series, and our probables brought to you by Ford. For the first time in it seems like a long time, we can tell you that we have a probable starter for the Rangers on the left side of your screen. Mike Minor making his 9th start. And Reynaldo Lopez will take the ball for Chicago. Final of 4. Well, he came in here thinking this would be a good time for the Rangers to get going in the right direction against a team that has struggled as much as the White Sox have. There's also been a place of great difficulty and frustration for the Rangers over the years here. High fly ball out into shallow center. Engel, plenty of time. That's a 1-2-3. Top of the 8th inning. 5-3 White Sox lead. No hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. Well, here in Chicago, bottom of the 8th inning. And Diekman, who got the final out of the 7th, comes out for more here in the 8th. Left-hander deals with Yuri Garcia. 5-3 Chicago. They have out-hit the Rangers 7-5. And a bouncer up the middle, and that one just past Odor. Rudy trying to make a great all-out dive to his right to come up with that, but Garcia with a single to start the inning.
Garcia gets a fastball down and away. Just snuck it into center field for the base hit. Garcia is a good base runner and a good base stealer. So he would be a threat right here to do something on the bases. Anderson hitters a really good base stealer. In his short career, he's stolen bases at a 90% clip. Speed at the bottom of the order.
They sure do. They've got some athleticism on this team.
You look at Anderson, well, Garcia, Anderson, Engel, Moncada, all run very well. Looks like Sanchez runs pretty well too.
He's 3 stolen bases this year in 4 tries. They've got some guys that can move. They've got a little power. Now, defensively, they might have some challenges, at least right now, but there's some hopes that some of these guys develop, including this one right here, Tim Anderson, the shortstop who last year led all Major League shortstops in errors. Diekman gets ahead 0-2. Rangers led early in this one, 3-0. Scott Anderson there into the count, but then in the bottom of the 3rd, the White Sox scored 4 runs. And it all happened with 2 out in the inning. Attack on a run of the 7th inning, extend the lead just a touch. It's another battle tonight for the Rangers. They have played well on the road this year. They're trying to get to 500 on the road with a win tonight. Diekman grabs a comebacker, throws out Anderson, 1 away. Garcia now out at second base.
Dave, while I got a second, I want to say hi to somebody who's watching the game tonight. One of my old roommates, Sonny Bowers, and his wife Shelley are watching the game. Sonny was on that team at Salisbury, and so he texted me and said he remembers those days fondly, especially remembers that trip back to from Spartanburg to Salisbury. And he said, "Why don't you tell the rest of that story?" And I said, "No, can't quite tell that one yet. It might be a couple years down the road." But let's just say we had a blast back in those days. No social media.
Oh, man.
No cell phone cameras. So players probably enjoyed some of the parts of the game a little bit more back then than they do now.
We'll definitely get that story out eventually. It'll be one of my greater projects. Baez shoots this one to the left side, foul and out of play. It's funny though, all the great memories guys have in their careers, and so many of them have little to do with that one game moment or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you look back at those days, you know, whatever they were, 50 years ago, and then you watch the movie Bull Durham. Now, a lot of people watch the movie Bull Durham and just say it's preposterous, none of that could ever happen. And certainly there's some things that happened in Bull Durham that were exaggerated, but for the most part, that is a very realistic look at what life was like back in the minor leagues back then. The way players were released by the manager happens exactly like it did there. Most of the teams had a player coach like Kevin Costner. We did on that Salisbury team. Gene Raines was our player coach. He went on to be the head coach at the University of South Carolina for 15 or 20 years. He was a catcher on that team and a player coach. So there was a lot of things that were very similar. And then to make a good movie, you might have to embellish it just a little bit. Most of the scenes that were funny in that movie were based on things that actually happened.
Is that your favorite all-time baseball movie?
No.
Another one?
Field of Dreams by far.
Yeah,
my favorite. But I like Bull Durham.
What about Sandlot? Did you ever see Sandlot?
Love Sandlot.
Yeah, that's a good
Love that one. I think I loved it because my kids loved it so much. They watched that thing over and over and over.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
Adam Engel, 0 for 2 with a walk so far today. Man at third, 2 out here in the 8th. Murray Garcia, man at third, started the inning with a base hit. Diekman trying to work around it. It's 1-1. Engel is hitless in this series. Did not play in the opener on Thursday night. Infield back to the 1-1. There's a swing and a miss for strike 2.
A good sweeping breaking ball that it breaks so much as a hitter. You're trying to gauge whether it's going to stay in the strike zone or not. Looks like a pretty good pitch to hit, and it just keeps on breaking more towards you and more down toward the dirt, so that when you finally swing at it, there's not much can be done about it, and tough to make contact with it unless you want to hit it on a bounce.
2-2. What about the natural?
Love that. Yeah, love that one too. I liked almost every baseball movie. One I didn't see was the one about Babe Ruth with John Goodman.
Yeah.
I saw the trailer for that and refused to watch it. I couldn't stand to watch a movie where they make fun of Babe Ruth.
Yeah, you didn't miss it today. Engel goes down looking, inning over. White Sox leave a man, but last chance for the Rangers coming up. Odor, Chirinos, and Guzman are due.
Rayu drives in a run with a single to left. Matt Davison follows with a soft blooper to left and a run. And then the finishing touches on the inning provided by Daniel Palka, who triples off the wall in left field to drive in 2 runs. That was a 4-run third inning, which has been the difference in the ball game for the Chicago White Sox.
5 of their 8 hits today for extra bases. Skipper still hiding from us down there in the dugout. All right, it's going to be up to the bottom of the order here to get something going. Rougned Odor leading it off. He is 1 for 3 with that RBI double back in the 2nd inning. Since that double, the Rangers are 0 for 10 with men on base, and a bunt attempt fouled off. It's 0-2. Fry, a scoreless 8th inning. Struck out 1 batter. Not again here in the 9th. So Odor strikes out, and that's how we begin the 9th inning.
Looks like Fry was going to face the left-hand hitter. And now White Sox are going to probably make a pitching change to go with their closer.
Nate Jones will be coming on now. 1 out here in the 9th inning. Rick Renteria goes to get the baseball. It's a 2-0 record and 2 saves. He'll go to work against Robinson Chirinos. Jones has a very distinct style and delivery, the way he pulls that ball out of the glove and then holds the ball and the arm back momentarily before firing to the plate. It looks darn near painful, but it's been effective for him.
Yeah, it works for him, and it's the kind of delivery to watch a little closer. It looks like it would be easy for the hitter to pick the ball up. There's not much deception. He takes the ball out, puts it up above his head, behind his back, and says, "Here it is." But he also tunes it up there at 97 or 98 miles an hour, and that takes some of the fun out of it.
He started a clean ninth inning on Thursday in the opening game of the series. A game the White Sox eventually won 4-2. First batter he faced was Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and he plunked him. And he thought, wow, okay, now the tying run comes up for the rest of the inning, and the Rangers got another man on board eventually. Got both of them into scoring position before finally a strikeout of Shields would end the inning, but Jones at least gave the Rangers a chance. Here he goes 1-2 on Chirinos. One out, nobody on. One-two. A swing and a miss. So 2 strikeouts in this ninth inning. Rangers are down to their final out. Ball game they once led 3-0. Rangers have won 3 and lost 4 on this road trip. The idea, anytime you go out, try and play 500 ball on the road. And by and large, they have hovered right around that number this year on the road. This would have been a real nice one to win. But they're going to need some heroics here in the ninth inning. Guzman is 0 for 3. Rangers have 1 hit off the White Sox bullpen tonight. There's a strike. It's 1-1. Good crowd tonight. 25,611 paid. Good majority of them to their feet here in the ninth inning. Star Wars night. The bobblehead and the Star Wars theme, and you referenced Hawk Harrelson earlier, Tom, is Hawk Solo.
Solo.
1-2 to count.
These are good challenges for the young players to face a closer with this kind of an arm. Big crowd on the road, trying to battle, get on base, make something happen late in the game. Good experiences for the younger players.
Guzman takes high. It's 2-2. He's done a nice job in these spots. Late innings. He has shown up. He's 23 years old. And this is rookie season. Dealing with the veteran Jones. Two-two pitch, and there's a swing, and that one is flared out toward second base. Anderson, though, coming on, and he'll make the catch. And that does it. White Sox win the second game of this series. They have taken, or rather, they've taken 2 of 3 in this series. And a tough loss tonight for the Rangers. They will come back tomorrow, though, a chance to earn the split. 5-3 our final score. John Radigan, Mike Bassick, and David Murphy are back in the studio, ready to break this one down for you tonight. For Tom Grieve, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond. Stay with us. More coverage of tonight's ball game coming up right after this.